Hi, welcome to Strolling with Sarah Jo. I'm so excited that you're here this week with me and that you're taking time out of your probably crazy day. If it's anything like my days, they're crazy, and you are taking the opportunity to just listen to my thoughts on some random topics. And so I appreciate that. And I'd love for your feedback. If you want to drop it in the comments, tell me what you think, ask questions, be like, what are your thoughts on this? I would love for that to happen. And so today we're going to be talking about a concept that honestly, it's something that just kind of hit me this week. Basically because a friend is super awesome and she thinks awesomely, her brain works amazing, and she made me really contemplate this. And so the idea this week is grace or excuses. So this friend that is way smarter than me, I came across something that she had actually posted and something she had talked about. And she said, remember, always give yourself grace, but never give yourself excuses. And I just stopped. I loved that statement. It sent me into reflection for sure, and caused me to just kind of pause and think about the difference between grace and excuses. So like 100% believe in giving grace to others, giving grace to myself. I'm still working on that sometimes, but at what point does it cross over from giving yourself grace to allowing yourself to have excuses? And that's where my brain kind of sat for a little bit. There are times when I do make excuses for myself, but like I label it, I'm giving myself grace to have room for rest. And yeah, but I feel like we have to be real with ourselves at some point and like actually make sure that we're not trying to lie to make ourselves feel good about the excuse that we are making. So I believe that there's a difference between the two. I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit today. So she also, this really smart friend of mine, used the quote from a Coach Sunny that says, excuses are just lies wrapped up in pretty paper. Ouch. That stepped all over my toes. But then it like really, the more I sat on it and just thought about it and just really just kind of took the time to reflect, I guess, about what that really is saying, is it reminded me about how we talked about a while back that we use the phrase like, I don't have time. Well, really what we're saying is that's not a priority to me. And that's okay. You're allowed to have your own priorities. So like some things aren't going to be priorities for us, and some things are going to be priorities for us. Some things aren't going to be priorities for somebody else, but they're going to have things that are priorities to them. Like it just, everybody's different. You kind of got to just realize that ahead of time. But at the end of the day, everything can't be a priority. So like you really do actually have to list that out, prioritize it, figure out what is going to count. And so time specifically lends itself to this analogy. So I hope you'll just roll with me on this. When we're thinking, I just don't have time, we're really using that time issue. We're using that lie that we don't have time, because we all have 24 hours in a day and we all get to choose how we use it. So it's not that we don't have time, it's that it's not a priority. And again, that's okay. You just have to be okay with that thing not being a priority. So sometimes we use our time watching Netflix instead of working on that project. Sometimes we decide to play catch instead of folding laundry. It's not a bad thing. We just need to own it when we make something a priority. We need to own it instead of make excuses. Like, you shouldn't have to just defend it all the time. Like, own it, and it either was, like, it's either the grace or it's the excuse. And so I ask, like, are you giving yourself grace, or are you allowing yourself to have excuses? And this could be different in each area of life. The way I see it is grace is productive. Grace is allowing yourself rest and calm so that you may be able to do more later, so that you may be able to push farther, go harder, get the things done later. But right now, in order to be able to do that, you need to have rest and calm. Excuses are just an out to not do the thing. And like, I might never have to do the thing. If I'm giving myself grace, it's like, okay, I'm going to sit for a minute and I'm going to just read this book with my kid. And you know what? I will get to that. I'll get to that. But reading to my kid's going to fill my cup. And then I'm going to feel like doing the other thing versus like, meh. Look, and I'm all about like, I can tell you, I have made me some excuses. It's a thing. It's okay. I'm going to own it. It happens, right? It happens. So I ask you, when you're thinking about your big goals, your big dreams, the things you want to accomplish, whatever it is in front of you, are you giving yourself grace or are you allowing yourself to make excuses? No one will ever know the difference or really be able to judge you, because that's only something that you can know inside and that you will be willing to admit to yourself or admit to others. It's like nobody else is going to know if you're giving grace or excuses. They can't judge that. That's you. Only you can judge that. So think about those big goals you have for yourself, or that big thing you're wanting to do, or whatever it is in front of you. And then ask yourself, am I giving myself grace or am I making excuses? It just hits sometimes. And it allowed me to think through some ways that I have been doing really good at showing myself grace, which if you know me, that's been a struggle. So like, I'm super proud of myself in those areas, but then I can also see areas where I've made excuses where I'm like, I gotta stop that mess. That's not productive. It's not helping me reach those goals. So take some time and think about those things. You're showing yourself grace or you're allowing yourself to make excuses. Again, thank you for joining me today. I'm so glad that you took the opportunity to just listen in for a few minutes to my random musings and the way my brain runs with things. And I hope that it blessed you or challenged you in some way. Have a great day.